Joe Biden makes first statement about the classified documents found in his office, and the Trump allies come out swinging. Let's dive in. But first, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for daily news updates, ring that notification bell, and be sure to share this video to help spread the news. Also, check out blackoutcoffee.com to get coffee, tea, and hot cocoa delivered right to your front door. Use offer code Global News Daily at checkout to save 10% off your next purchase. All right, CNN reports Biden said he was surprised to learn government records, including classified documents, were taken to his private office. Well, real great, Joe. Let's see what he has to say. President Joe Biden said Tuesday that he did not know the government records from his time as vice president, which included some classified documents, had been taken to his private office after he had left public service. I was surprised to learn there were any government records that were taken there to that office, Biden said in response to a reporter's question at a news conference in Mexico City, where he was attending a trilateral summit with the leaders of Mexico and Canada. Biden emphasized that he does not know what is in the documents that were found at a Washington, D.C. office that he used when he was an honorary professor at the University of Pennsylvania. CNN reported earlier in the day that Biden and his White House legal team did not know what's precisely contained in the classified documents because they did not review them, according to the two sources familiar with the matter. CNN reported Tuesday that among the classified documents are U.S. intelligence memos and briefing materials that covered topics including Ukraine, Iran, and the United Kingdom, according to a separate source familiar with the matter. Biden didn't know the documents were there and didn't become aware that they were there until his personal lawyer informed the White House's counsel. The White House counsel's office one source familiar with the matter told CNN. In explaining why Biden doesn't know what's in the documents, the source said the president's team is wary of appearing to interfere, given the Justice Department is still scrutinizing the matter. They probably just don't care. It's just right. It's like they found them, and they probably was a mistake. So he probably doesn't know what's in them. So he's like, whatever. It's some random stuff from when I was vice president 5 years ago. Let's continue. The president's personal attorneys found the documents in November when packing files, the White House has said, and then the counsel's office notified the National Archives and Records Administration. Biden's lawyers provided the documents to the National Archives the day after they found them and are still cooperating in the matter being reviewed by the U.S. attorney in Chicago, according to the White House. The president said his attorneys did what they should have done by immediately calling the archives. People know I take classified documents, classified information seriously, Biden added. Well, not too seriously. I don't even know where they were. You didn't even know they were missing. They were there. You didn't know anything about them. But anyways, let's continue. Biden added, saying that the documents were found in a box, locked cabinet, or at least a closet. He doesn't even know where they're found. Fewer than a dozen classified documents were found at the office, another source told CNN. It is unclear why they were taken to Biden's private office. The classified material, including some top-secret files with the sensitive compartmented information designation, also known as SCI, which is used for highly sensitive information obtained from intelligence sources. Federal office holders are required by law to relinquish official documents and classified records when their government service ends. In response to specific questions about why the Biden team did not disclose the discovery of classified documents in November at Biden's private office, Ian Sams, a spokesperson for the White House counsel's office, said that they are limited in what they can say now because of the Justice Department is looking into the matter and further details may be shared in the future. This is an ongoing process under review by DOJ, so we are going to be limited on what we can say at this time. But we are committed to doing this the right way, and we will provide further details when and as appropriate. Sams said in a statement Tuesday afternoon. The White House is downplaying the documents. Of course they are. The White House has convened a call with top allies to explain the investigation surrounding the classified documents, hoping to quell the growing criticism and questions about the discovery. A White House official characterized the documents as fewer than a dozen. Two people familiar with the call say, none of which are particularly sensitive and not of high interest to the intelligence community. No written talking points were sent to the administration's allies, as is often the case during an unfolding political crisis or key moment. But the call was intended to amplify the explanation released Monday night by the White House. On the call, a top official reiterated how the president's counsel notified NARA immediately. The White House is still determining how much they can and choose to say about these documents, given the investigation and sensitivity. This was known to only a remarkably tight circle until news reports on Monday, aides say. Biden tries to stay focused on the summit. As the news of the classified documents quickly consumed coverage back at home, Biden was busy kicking off a highly anticipated bilateral meeting with Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, where immigration was expected to be among the top issues discussed. As the moment was unfolding, one senior administration official traveling with the president told CNN that Biden had been in meetings all afternoon ahead of the extended bilateral meeting with his counterpart. Nothing has changed in his schedule, the official said. He's focused on the summit and meeting with our closest neighbors. On whether advisors have discussed the issue of the declassified documents during Biden's visit to Mexico so far, the officials said that as far as they were aware, it had not come up. Seated to Biden's left during his meeting with the Mexican president was Attorney General Merrick Garland, who has asked the U.S. Attorney in Chicago to review the matter. A source familiar with the matter told CNN, a process that is still in preliminary stage. The U.S. Attorney in Chicago, John Lausch Jr., was appointed by former President Donald Trump in 2017. Garland chose to have Lausch conduct the Biden documents investigation because he is one of two remaining Trump-appointed U.S. attorneys and thus avoids the appearance of conflict of interest because he wasn't appointed by Biden. People familiar with the matter said. That's how you can just tell this is just like a giant nothing burger. Nothing's going to come from the declassified documents. They're not worried about it. Why would they? It was probably just a mistake. Let's continue. Lausch has already completed the initial part of his inquiry, a source familiar with his work told CNN. He has provided a preliminary findings to Garland, and the source said, this means Garland now faces the critical decision on how to proceed, including whether to open a full-blown criminal investigation. Garland was also personally involved in some of the key decision-making related to the Trump documents investigation and the decision to send the FBI to search Mar-a-Lago. So that's not a conflict of interest, though. A stark contrast between investigations into Trump and Biden. The episode has echoes of the scandal that enveloped Trump in late 2021 over scores of, I think 2022 is when they raided it, right? Over scores of classified documents found at Mar-a-Lago home in Florida during the raid by the FBI. However, there are some key differences between the two scenarios in the Biden team's telling. Sauber said Biden's personal attorney quickly turned over a small number of classified documents once they were found in the locked space. With Trump, when the National Archives realized the key records were missing, it was forced to haggle with Trump for months over the return of government documents. The documents discovered in Biden's office had never been sought or requested by NARA or any other government entity. They just lost them and just didn't care. Trump eventually gave 15 boxes of materials back to NARA, but federal investigators later came to correctly suspect that he was still holding onto dozens of additional classified files. So DOJ prosecutors secured a grand jury subpoena and later got a judge's permission to search Mar-a-Lago to find the documents. He is now under investigation by special counsel Jack Smith for potentially mishandling classified documents. Potentially. Ever since the FBI searched Mar-a-Lago in August, a search that uncovered dozens of additional classified files, Trump has promoted wild and unfounded allegations about his predecessor's supposed mishandling of government records. I guess they weren't that unfounded. Here we are. The news about classified records turning up at Biden's private office is sure to provide new fodder for Trump, who has already announced his 2024 presidential bid. Trump's lawyers see the revelation of the documents in Biden's private office as a huge asset to their ongoing case related to his handling of classified documents after he left office, believing to showcase how easy it is to unknowingly take documents that are supposed to be in possession of the federal government. While the differences in the two incidents are stark, given Trump resisted turning over the documents he took, his team plans to highlight how these documents were found days before the midterm election, but nothing was said public about it. They're referring to Biden's. They're showing the Biden total documents, 10, some top secret, cooperating, lawyers found in alerted archives. Trump had at least 325 total documents. We don't know how many were classified or anything yet, though, because they won't talk about it. 60 top secret, under investigation for obstruction, of course. Archives first reached out to Trump lawyers. Yeah, but Trump thought he was in the right about all this, about declassifying all that. We'll get into that in a minute. But let's continue. Republicans pledged to investigate. The news has quickly become flashpoint on Capitol Hill for House Republicans eager to use their new oversight powers on the Biden administration. Representative James Comer, who chairs the House Oversight Committee, told CNN he plans to press the National Archives, which his committee oversees, for information about the classified documents. President Biden has been very critical of President Trump mistakenly taking classified documents to the resident or wherever, and now it seems he may have done the same thing, Comer said. How ironic. The Kentucky Republican sent letters to the archives and the White House counsel's office Tuesday night. He requested that documents and other information be turned over no later than January 24th, and that NARA General Counsel Gary Stern and NARA Director of Congressional Affairs John Hamilton be made available for transcribed interviews with the committee staff no later than January 17th. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy didn't say whether he believes House Republicans should investigate Biden's retention of classified documents, but said the reaction to Trump holding onto classified documents has been driven by politics. I just think it goes to prove that they tried to do to President Trump, overplayed their hand on that, McCarthy said. They've been around even longer, McCarthy said of Biden's team. President Trump had never been in office before, and he had just left. Came out. Here's an individual who spent 40 years in office. McCarthy added, it just shows that they were trying to be political with President Trump. Representative Jamie Raskin, a top Democrat on the House Oversight Panel, pointed to what the Biden team detailed as key differences between the two instances, noting Biden's attorneys appear to have taken immediate and proper action to notify National Archives about their discovery of the small handful of classified documents found in a locked cabinet at a Penn Biden center so they could be returned to federal government's custody. Still, some members of Biden's own party also expressed concerns at the idea of classified documents being found in an improper location. Two senior Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee, Reps. Adam Schiff and Jim Himes, both told CNN that classified documents must be handled securely, offering their first reaction to news that President Biden may have mishandled classified documents from the time as vice president. Yeah, so the difference they're not talking about here, though, is the president has some. I mean, it's like a gray area, but the president may just be able to declassify information whenever he wants. The officials say that you need to go to court for it, or have procedures for it. But as the American Bar Association says here, this has not ever went to court. So we don't know. But the vice president, like, basically definitely does not have the ability to declassify documents. Now, I don't even think it's that big of a deal. I don't think the officer should go after him or anything. But, I guess it's the principle. They went after Trump so much when he probably has the legal authority to do it. Or even it's vague. They might have to go to court and actually settle this. But at least there's a possibility. There's no possibility for the vice president. Let's get into it, though, because maybe there's a little bit. The Obama era classified documents as President Biden's former office in Washington has sparked a debate over whether vice presidents have the power to declassify sensitive materials. The documents found in packing boxes at Penn Biden Center in Washington, where Mr. Biden held an office. Is it in Pennsylvania? I don't know. Biden held an office date back to his time as vice president under President Barack Obama. Several allies of former President Donald Trump immediately argued that vice presidents don't have the power to declassify documents. The scope of government officials' classification power has generated highlighted interest since the FBI raided Mr. Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence in August and seized classified documents. FBI agents carried out the search as part of a Justice Department probe into whether Mr. Trump illegally withheld the materials when they were shipped to Mar-a-Lago. Mr. Trump has made president's power to declassify documents a central part of his defense. He insisted that presidents can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it. Legal scholars have disputed this claim, insisting there's a formal process for declassifying documents. The vice president's declassification powers are even less clear, according to this. The March 2003 executive order signed by President George W. Bush empowered the vice president to classify sensitive materials. That same executive order grants declassification powers to the official who authorized the original classification or a supervisor official. Under the executive order, vice presidents are granted the power to declassify documents. They classify themselves, but it's unclear if the vice president would be viewed as a supervisory official with the ability to declassify sensitive documents from the CIA and other agencies. I don't know why they put this in here, because from everything that I researched, there's nothing that indicated. All it says on there is the vice president can declassify stuff he classifies. It leaves it muddled whether a vice president can declassify documents. Late Monday, Mr. Trump insisted that the power of declassification materials ends with the presidency. A VP cannot declassify documents, which are covered by the Federal Records Act, which is a criminal and much tougher than the Presidential Records Act, which is not criminal. A president, me, can declassify, he posted on his social media platform. Mr. Trump's allies have heavily leaned into that argument. They made it clear they intend to emphasize that point while discussing the Biden revelations. By the way, the only person that has the constitutional ability to declassify any documents is the President of the United States, not the Vice President, Representative Steve Scalise of Louisiana told the reporters Tuesday. Yeah, so very interesting. I don't think that Joe Biden is messed up too. I think there should be an I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It's probably just going to be a giant waste of time. But, I get it. Like, principally, they went after Trump so crazy, and, he's probably in the legal right, where it did say, I've read that they have went after other people that have mishandled stuff, even if it was intentional or not intentional. So I guess we'll see. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but I don't really blame him for trying, I guess. But it's not. Let's be honest. It's not going to go anywhere. All right, I think that's about it for this one. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you like it, please give us a like. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.